it records this way. Okay. And I will read also y'all's comments. Okay, so what is CBDA? CBDA is the part, so when you look at the plant, right, the flower is on top of the whole plant. That's what we call it, bud, flower bud. At the very top of the plant is where all the cannabinoids are found. And it looks like a little Christmas tree. And that technically is CBDA. In marijuana, it'll be THCA, but it's the raw part. It does not become CBD until it's heated or put in an immense amount of pressure on it. So technically, when you extract it, if you don't place any heat or if you don't place any pressure on it, it'll stay CBDA. And so technically, CBDA is like the raw cannabinoid. Now, the A stands for acidic. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is acidic. A lot of people ask me about it, like if they are trying to stay alkaline or something like that. It does not add to the acidity of the body. That's just how they categorize it. There's lots of different categories around cannabinoids. All the active cannabinoids have nothing after them. So like CBD and nothing after is an active cannabinoid. THC with nothing after it is an active cannabinoid. Then you have THCV and THCA. So the V's and the A's mean different things, but the A stands for acid, and that technically just means that it's raw. And once it transformed to CBD, it becomes a different compound. So it's just a different compound. And that's really the biggest thing you need to know, is that CBDA and CBD are different. How is it different? So CBD, we know, works in the endocannabinoid system. Of course, CBDA works in the endocannabinoid system as well. But CBDA accesses different receptors. And the ones that are the most predominant, so it still works in the endocannabinoid system like CBD does, but it accesses a few receptors that are really, really important. The first one is the 5-HTP receptor in the nerve cells. So 5-HTP is known as our like serotonin regulator. Serotonin, if it's too high, will cause nausea. If it's too low, it can make you feel sad. You don't necessarily have a serotonin problem if you have anxiety, but it does help with mood a lot. And because it works on the nerve cells, it obviously helps with nerves. That can be anxious nerves. It can be physical pain nerves. It can be inflammation of the nerves. All of the nerves, right? So, and we know that the nerves are most abundant in where? The brain and the gut. So, and obviously the peripheral nervous system, but the gut, because it has so many nerves, CBDA, if someone has a gastrointestinal issue and they're already using full spectrum and they want to get more results, adding CBDA on top of it is a beautiful thing, because it works on the nerves. So restless leg syndrome, any type of neuropathy, all of those things we should absolutely be using CBDA for. There's no reason why we shouldn't. So 5-HTP in the nerve cells, that is one way that CBDA is a little bit different. Does CBD still work in the nerves? Absolutely, but CBDA works better. So obviously if someone has anxiety and that's all they have a problem with, just CBDA. That's all they probably need. If they want to get a full body transformation, regulate everything, balance and restore with CBDA on top of it, you're really getting everything that our products can possibly give you. Okay, another way that CBDA works differently is it works in the ACE receptors. And the ACE receptors are located in like the blood vessels. It really helps with like blood pressure regulation, inflammation in the vascular systems. And ACE is also the place that NSAIDs work. So if anybody is using Tylenol, or Tylenol is technically not an NSAID, but Advil, right? All of your NSAIDs are working on the ACE receptors. And so these are really, really important to take note. And the other way that CBDA is different is it works on the COX receptors. And I pulled up some technical information so that you guys know like what technically the dictionary says. So COX, or did I say this backwards? I said it backwards. The ACE receptors, the ACE receptors are located in the respiratory system. Remember when we talked about how CBDA works for COVID? So CBDA, because it interacts with the ACE receptors, and COVID goes after the ACE receptors. Does that make sense, right? 2 and 2 together equal, right? So the ACE receptors, being that they're located in the respiratory tract, there's CBD doesn't really have any access points in the respiratory tract the way that CBDA does. So yes, I will do that, Kathy. Okay, so it says ACE2 receptors are expressed at the level of the respiratory system, tracheal and bronchial cells, and the cardiovascular system and the vascular system. So when we looked at a respiratory infection attacking the body, it goes after the ACE receptors. So can everybody just like understand that correlation? And then going back to the COX receptors, so I had it backwards. NSAIDs work on the COX receptors. COX receptors are your pain receptors. I don't know why I had this backwards in my head. I have not taken my CBD today. So COX receptors are located in the blood vessels, smooth muscle cells, platelets, mesothelial cells, and also the heart. So if you're taking, again, NSAIDs, COX, CBDA is a really good replacement for that. I personally, like, if I don't really have any pain anymore during my cycle, which is great because I'm healing my body. My body no longer has like PCOS or endometriosis. I typically have like almost no pain now during my cycle. Is it normal to have pain? Actually, it's not. You're not supposed to have pain, like not a lot. And so if I do have any breakthrough pain, I load up on CBDA. I take a nice big dose. Okay. So any questions about how CBDA works on different receptors? Okay, I'm going to go back really quick and answer these questions. Can you use CBDA while nursing? Sarah, you can use all cannabinoids while you're nursing. Let's go ahead and just wipe that slate clean. You can use it when you're pregnant and you can use it when you're nursing. There's no reason why CBDA would hurt the baby. There's no reason actually why THC would hurt the baby unless you're vaping it and using high amounts of THC, right? Let's go ahead and say cannabinoids are safe. You will not find that on Google, and you will not find that from your OBGYN, but there is plenty of documentation saying that. I want to carry you in my pocket. Okay. Dosing guidelines, I'll talk about that. Neuropathy, full spectrum still works good for that. Yeah, but if someone has a neuropathy and a lot of pain and full spectrum isn't doing the job after a month, I would add in CBDA 100%. When someone has a lot of pain, regardless, I give them a topical, I give them full spectrum, and I give them CBDA always, all three. Always, always, always. My mom has restless leg and I can't get her to take CBD. Well, that's something you're gonna have to work on. Show her the movie, The God Plant, on Amazon and let her learn about the truth about cannabis. Julie, this will also be, this is recorded. Yes, Kim. Okay, so I've had hundreds of clients pregnant and nursing, so no problems. CBDA for chemo, would it be 1 dropper a day? Susan, we're gonna do dosing guidelines soon. Parkinson's, Andrea, yeah, CBDA. So serotonin is the precursor to dopamine, but Parkinson's, I have my clients taking full spectrum and CBDA. Does broad spectrum work equally as full? No. The presence of THC always make everything work better. Y'all have to get over the THC thing. If you're drug tested, I get it. If you're not drug tested, THC all the way. You can't get high from our products. You might feel more chill, but it won't. I agree, they need to make a bundle. What would you recommend for someone who has several strokes? Full spectrum and CBDA for sure. Okay. All right, second thing, so we did, what is CBDA? How is it different from CBD? Where does CBDA work? Why would you want to use it? So again, anxiety, hands down, CBDA. If you just have sleep and anxiety issues and the reason you can't sleep is because you can't shut off your brain, CBDA. If you've had COVID or long COVID, CBDA, and full spectrum actually, because you probably have some other issues after COVID or any respiratory issue. If you get sick a lot, CBDA and the immune booster. those two paired together, taken twice a day, every single day, will really, really help you from getting sick a lot. I don't get sick hardly at all. I got COVID. I was sick for 1 day. I also did get an IV infusion. This is a question I get a lot. Does it work alone? Absolutely. All of the products, all of the cannabinoids work by themselves, all of them. You do not need one cannabinoid to work with another cannabinoid to make it work. When they're together though, it's like a team, they work better. So like, for instance, the question about broad spectrum, does broad spectrum work as good as full spectrum? No, because full spectrum has more cannabinoids. More cannabinoids is always better, but some people do better with certain types of cannabinoids. What about kids with anxiety at night? Yes, Megan, it doesn't matter if you're a kid or you're an adult. The endocannabinoid system works the same. We develop it in utero. As soon as the spine is developed, the endocannabinoid system begins developing. So like by, I would say 12 weeks, a baby in utero has an endocannabinoid system. All of our products are safe for children, and CBDA does not show up on drug tests. Remember, the only thing that shows up on a drug test is THC. And because CBN is a derivative of THC, it can show up. So those of y'all taking the sleep jellies and you have somebody who's drug tested, I would probably stay away from the sleep jellies, because CBN is, I don't want to go into a whole thing because this is about CBDA, but CBN comes from THC degrading. So over time, like as it ages, it turns into CBN. And so remember that if someone is drug tested, CBN could show up as THC, the way it metabolizes in the body, especially if someone is unhealthy. They have a lot of inflammation. Typically, things will stay in the body because their body isn't detoxing properly. And so the more inflamed you are and the heavier you are, so the more fat you have, THC and CBN get stored in the fat cells because the body isn't detoxing properly. Like my husband could, smoke weed and pass a drug test the next day because he has barely any body fat. He has really good inflammation detoxing. So that's just like an example. Okay, how do you take it? Let's get into CBDA dosing, taking it. Okay, tinctures are all the same. You put them in your mouth, you hold it in your tongue or in your cheeks here. You have all these veins, inside your lips. All of that's veins. So when you hold it in your mouth, it passes through the oral mucosal veins. These are oral mucosal, all right here. Those are all veins. And so it goes through, it goes through the skin, right? Just like we put CBD on the skin, our inside skin, it absorbs. And so if you hold it under your tongue or in your mouth, that's the best way to do it. That goes for all of our tinctures. Anything that has a dropper bottle is a tincture, and it's held all the same way. Dosing, again, it's all the same. You would, now CBDA is a little bit stronger than CBD, 5 to 10 times stronger than CBD is CBDA. It's just a stronger cannabinoid. It binds directly with certain things, but you would want to kind of like slow into it, just like we do everything else. I tell all my customers, almost everybody, I ask them, are you sensitive? If they know they're sensitive, they will tell you they're sensitive. If they're not sensitive, I just average them out. I say a quarter dropper twice a day for a week, then a half a dropper twice a day for a week, and then 0.75 twice a week. And if any time they're not getting the results that they want or they feel weird, I have them back down again. Didn't you say there's a reason for doing it twice a day? Yes, because it metabolizes, right? It doesn't stay in the body all day. So if you're only taking it once a day, you're only getting like an 8-hour window of effectiveness. So if you're waking up in pain, you're waking up with anxiety, you're waking up without energy, you're waking up feeling swollen, you're waking up feeling anything, you wake and take it. Everybody should be waking and taking everything. If you feel too sedated, then drop the dose, right? If you're taking it at night and you take a whole dropper to sleep at night, then take it in the morning, take a quarter dropper, because your body in 6 to 8 hours is likely going to metabolize it out of the body, right? Just like medicine, right? There's a half-life. And so by the time, I almost chopped my finger off the other day. By the time it's out of your body, then you could have breakthrough pain or breakthrough inflammation or breakthrough anything, breakthrough mood issues. And so I tell people, wake and take it. If you feel that you need it in the late afternoon, take it again. If you feel like you need it right before bed, take it again. You can take it up to 3 times a day. I have people that take 3 to 4 doses a day sometimes. But the general standard for all of our products is twice a day, right? If it's an energy product, my daughter, there's like only a handful of people that can break through my do not disturb. Does everybody understand that? So all of our products metabolize after a certain time. Fun fact, the tinctures have a slower metabolize. So after, like you take a jelly, let's say, a jelly has a nano, it has a faster metabolism. And so it actually exits the system faster than a tincture. So people always ask me, like, is it better to take a jelly or tincture? I always say tinctures are the best. And then after that, a jelly is great. It's easy, it's fast acting, it's easier for kids, people that have sensitivities to tinctures for whatever reason. But y'all just have to play around with it, right? This is all going down to really good customer service. Is you ask them, do you have any problem taking a tincture? Is it something, maybe you want a jelly because you have a problem holding things under your tongue, or you get nauseous, or your kid won't hold it, right? Then do a gummy. So there's no reason why people shouldn't be able to do a tincture, like, other than those things. Kim, will you please mute yourself? Okay. Someone wanted to know, do you ever become immune to it? No, you never become immune to it, but you can build tolerances. Every product that you take, even supplements, foods, we all can build tolerances to things. That is normal with every single human being. If you take too much and you're at the top level of your dosing and your body doesn't have a time to metabolize it out, it will start building up. And then after a certain time, if you're staying on the top end of your dosing over and over and over again, then your body will build up a tolerance and you have to take a reset. A reset can be 2 days, it can be a week. You just don't take anything and your body will reset itself. And sometimes people need to do resets every quarter or half a year, just to set their new standard, right? After your body's healing itself, you might not need the same dose anymore. So after you start feeling better, you should kind of take a reset, get off of it for a couple of days, see where your new baseline is, and then start back over again. Our baselines change all the time. Every 6 months, I have a totally different tolerance to cannabis. So it's really, really important for y'all to be encouraging your clients to take a couple of days to a week off of things if they've been on it for a really long time, or they say, I don't think it's working anymore. Say, just don't take it for a week. Don't be worried about saying that, because a lot of times people will come back to you and go, okay, so it's totally working. I didn't realize how much my body had gotten, like, felt better. And then all that pain rushes back or whatever. And so they can really tell that it's working. Okay, someone wanted to know, should it help with someone quitting smoking? Yeah, so in addiction studies, and this goes for smoking, pills, drugs, everything that's an addiction, it will help with the withdrawals, but the person has to decide to quit smoking first. Does everybody know that? Like, when you're an addict, you have to decide you want to stop. Really, the only thing that stops people's minds from thinking that they want to be an addict is psychedelic therapy, and that's not legal in all states. Okay, if pain persists with the full spectrum 750, 1 dropper twice a day and 1 dropper, should she continue to increase or reset? Kathy, I really don't recommend the 750. I recommend the 1,000 for chronic pain. She should up to the 1,000. It has a higher amount of THC anyways. And I really think she might be taking too much. A full dropper of CBDA twice a day is like way too much. She probably already tapped out her receptors. Just saying. I would have her drop down to a half dropper twice a day of each. I would have her switch to the 1,000. I would have her do a half dropper twice a day of each, the full spectrum and the CBDA, and I would see how things work. But there could be a lot of more details into that, right? Like, people want to change their lives, but then they don't change their nutrition. They don't move their bodies. They drink alcohol, right? So remember, we have to ask more questions with people. People are like, hey, this and that, like, can it fix this? Well, we have to do a little bit more than just take CBD. Also, it depends on what kind of pain and where the pain is, I guess. Does shipping or exposure to heat or warm weather affect the product negatively? Well, if it's sitting out in the heat for a whole week, really like direct exposure, yes, but it is inside of a box. And so I wouldn't worry about shipping. But I would tell people that they need to take it within a couple months. This is not a fully shelf-stable product. Once it's open, it needs to be consumed or it needs to be refrigerated, hands down. If you're just storing it for a few months, that's fine. But best case scenario, put it in the fridge. If you're traveling, don't worry about it. Don't worry about refrigerating it when you're traveling. Just maybe get a little small dropper to carry. What is a good starting dosage for Restore and Balance? Again, everyone's different. I start everybody at a quarter dropper twice a day. If they're taking a jelly, half a jelly twice a day. I'm primarily selling CBD to my clients. Should I add CBDA? Yes, always. CBDA is the bomb. I lasted 24 hours without my jellies and the pain was coming back. Yes, resets are great. Like if you just don't take it, you'll notice the difference. How do we share that without being a medical claim and helping with withdrawals? Go Google it, or go to the NIH.gov. Actually, don't use Google. Screw Google. Scratch that. Use DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo, first of all, Google is paid for by Big Pharma, if y'all didn't know that. So if you're looking for stuff, most of the opinions that go along with Big Pharma will come up first. So when you're looking for studies, Google will not find them. Use DuckDuckGo or go directly to the databases, American Pharmacology, the all of the different bodies of research have their own websites that you can Google them or search them. Stop saying Google. And there are plenty of direct research studies about withdrawing from pills, from drugs, from smoking, all kinds of stuff. So go find it. CBD, projectcbd.org is a really, really good website. You can actually like search conditions and find research studies. But y'all remember, like you can't take things for face value. Keep searching and keep searching. Sometimes you have to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole to find it. Okay, my almost 4-year-old had a tonsillectomy and tongue tie release. He's struggling with pain. I would just do a few drops, Megan. Start with a few drops and then increase. You can't overdose on CBD. You can take too much and not feel great, right? Sometimes products will do the opposite of effect, but you can't overdose. So I would just go for it. If your child is in that much pain, I would give him a quarter drop or even as a 4-year-old, like just go for it. How long will it keep in the fridge? Check the born date and see what it says on the bottle. The bottle has an expiration, you guys. All the bottles have a born date. BD is born date. Means that's your bottle date when it was, and that has an expiration. So if the expiration passes, then it's no good. But yes, keep in the fridge if it's open. I had a customer quit smoking and drinking while on 750. Yeah, when your anxiety is lower and your body feels better, people don't drink as much. People don't smoke as much, right? Smoking and alcohol are both ways of coping. And people that have trauma and stress and they can't manage it themselves, they use substances to help them cope, right? And then they become addicted because both are extremely highly addictive, right? And sugar is just as bad. So just remember that if someone's drinking daily, and we're even talking a glass or more, doesn't matter. There's no level of alcohol that's safe. And so if they are drinking daily and they're taking CBD in, they're not getting the results, they need to quit drinking. You need to encourage people to stop drinking alcohol. Cool? I'm just going to be really harsh about that. People should not be drinking alcohol on a daily basis, period. It is terrible. It is hands down a toxin. It is destroying the body. The body can't detox properly. It's breaking down the organs. It's wrecking the brain. Alcohol is a dangerous, dangerous drug. Free spoke over Google. Yeah, anything over Google is good. Recommendation for a client with lupus. If someone has a chronic disease, this goes for everybody. Chronic disease, full spectrum CBDA together, always. If they have pain, add a topical. If they have a pain all over their body, they should soak in CBD with our bath bombs. Y'all, those soaks are one of the best pain management products in the world. If you have pain all over your body, obviously the pain cream is going to be way too expensive to put all over your body, right? So put it on your skin by soaking in it, right? Some guys are like, I'm not a bath guy. Well, if you're in pain, you should probably get in the bath. You know what I mean? I've had no desire to drink alcohol since I've started Green Compass. Yes. See, when we handle our anxieties and our stresses, we don't need these things to help us anymore. I still celebrate with alcohol sometimes, but I no longer feel that I need to come home and have a drink at all. Zero. I have someone refusing to take it because she's heard of drug reactions with blood thinners. Well, I mean, that's true, Kesha. Blood thinners, you have to be really careful with anything that has to do with the heart. So here's the thing, all of the clinical work that's been done on drug interactions were done on really high doses. We're talking like 100 milligrams. You know how much 100 milligrams is? 3 full droppers of the 1000 milligram. 3 full droppers. Who's taking 3 full droppers at a time? I hope no one, because that's stupid. That's ridiculous high. So with blood thinners, I always say, and y'all have to always say this, you need to talk to your doctor first. And if your doctor isn't educated, send them a video, get them educated. But here's the thing, start low. Start your clients low. If they're on a medication and you're not sure about it, start them low and have them track everything that happens, how they feel, their mood, if they have a headache, if they feel like they're getting itchy, right? Did you know that the skin is the first place that our body detoxes? So if someone's in a lot of inflammation, it might show up on their skin. Oh, what is the recommendation for chronic, full spectrum, and CBDA always? And y'all know chronic is anything that persists more than 6 months, sometimes even a couple months. What about autoimmune? Same thing, Robin, chronic issue. Hashimoto is a thyroid hormone issue, and that person needs to eat clean. They need to reduce their toxin load. Yeah, all over pain, for sure, the bath bombs, y'all. The bath bombs are just such an incredible product. I keep them on site all the time. Someone asked about weakness due to cancer treatments. They need to use all the things. Remember, oh, that's another thing I didn't tell you all about CBDA. CBDA originally was studied because it was able to kill cancer cells. I mean, this is true. These are in studies. CBDA and THCA both kill cancer cells. They kill cells that are not healthy cells. They reduce tumors. Acid reflux and gut stuff, would CBDA alone be helpful? Depends on what kind of gut stuff. If it's gallbladder gut stuff, not sure. If it's gallbladder, it's diet, hands down. If someone on a blood pressure med started with that quarter of jelly, developed a rash, probably detoxing inflammation through the skin. Yep. All right, y'all load me up with questions. I only got a few more minutes. For those of you that are going to ask, how do I know all these things? I read books, I go to seminars, I take courses, and I remember everything I read. It's like a superpower. Fertility or hormone issues, for sure CBDA, but I would say full spectrum and CBDA together. Fertility, y'all want to know a fun fact? Did you know there was a study done where they put PFASs, so these are like phthalates and things in fabric, and they had men wear it and they became infertile. Did you know that like polyester and nylon and spandex are toxic when next to our sex organs. So fertility could be a toxin issue. Again, there's a rabbit hole y'all haven't gone down yet. Yes, recently Lululemon, they have PFASs, which are called forever chemicals. You can't wash them out. They will forever. So if you're sweating and you're eating and you're wearing polyester and spandex, those toxins are going into your body. So fertility's main issue is toxin load. Will CBD and CBDA help with toxin load? Absolutely. It'll reduce inflammation and help the body detox. But y'all, this is a long-term thing. And how many people were raised to know, and this goes for the girls. So if there's a guy on here, you probably weren't told this, that you need to put cotton next to your vulva, right? We were told you don't put any synthetics down there. And how many people wear yoga pants without underwear all day long? Why do we have a fertility issue in this world? Isn't that nuts? It drives me crazy when I find out all these things. I'm buying everything like organic cotton. I'm throwing all of my yoga pants away. Same with personal care products. Yeah, you're taking baths with fragrances and chemicals. Linen is fine. Linen, bamboo, viscose, cotton, hemp, all good, clean things to put next to your skin. Silk, right? These are all things made organically. What if I got a client, got an ulcer under the tongue when starting CBD oil and sleep boost? Yeah, they could be sensitive to the essential oils. That is for sure. These essential oils are really strong. So when they put them under the tongue, go ahead and have them swish it with water afterwards. The products will still work if you put them in drinks. I put the Boost Sleep in tea at night and it still works great. But it works better when it's under the tongue, right? So the absorption levels go down when you add them to drinks or food, always. So you're just going to need more. But I have people that put it in feeding tubes. I have people that hide it in their kids' drinks, and it still works. You just need more. How long do you notice a difference between full and CBDA for neuropathy? Yeah, that's a case-by-case basis. All the time when people ask me, how long does it take? I have no idea what's happening in that person's body. I don't know their toxin load. I don't know their trauma. I don't know their nutrition. I don't know what their body looks like. I have no idea. I can't ever answer that question for you. It could be 6 months to a year if that person is really, really unhealthy, right? If someone has diabetes, they're really unhealthy. And if they have diabetic neuropathy, it could take 6 months to a year to see a difference with cannabis because they have to get their nutrition under control. Have to. There's no way around it, y'all. Chamomile and sleep boost is an allergen related to ragweed. Yep. Yeah, if you have an allergen to ragweed, you can't take chamomile, that's for sure. Take the CBDA. CBDA is great for sleep. Remember, serotonin that I talked in the beginning is amazing for anxiety, and most people can't sleep because they can't shut off their mind, right? So here's another thing, and this is can I go back to drug testing? Can you go back and watch it later? Because I explained that in the beginning. It's because CBN is a degradation of THC, right? So even though it's just CBN in the gummies and the jellies, like somebody who's like a pharmacist, they have a harsher drug test and CBN will show up. Okay, what was I gonna say? Oh, about anxiety. Okay. When someone says to you, I'm maybe interested because I have pain, what is the first thing that you say? Where is your pain? When someone says I have anxiety or I can't sleep, what kind of anxiety? What are you feeling? Right? We have to ask more questions. Why can't you sleep? Someone comes to me and they go, Marlies, what should I take for sleep? Or what would you recommend to my customer who can't sleep? I don't know. Why can't they sleep? Is it pain? Can they not shut off their brain? Are they having times chilling out? Right? So we have to ask all these questions when we meet with a customer. Why? Tell me more. Tell me more. Tell me more. It's like the Grease song. Tell me more. Tell me more. Why do you have that pain? Why can't you sleep? What does your anxiety feel like? Some people have like panic thoughts. They feel like the world is going to end. They have trouble with the past and the future, right? They can't live in the present. These are all details that help us understand what people are going through so that we can be better consultants, because anxiety is not the same for somebody else. Anxiety could just show up as stress for someone. Anxiety to somebody else is an actual disorder. So I want y'all to keep asking questions. What kind of pain, right? If they have a back problem and it's from an injury, or they have a nerve problem and that's pain, those are two different, totally different things. The type of anxiety, do you recommend different products? No, but I might handle the situation different. So if the person can't settle down physically, I might tell them to go take a bath with a CBD bath bomb. If it's just can't shut off your mind, CBDA for sure. Everybody's different. So we have to sometimes do a lot of experimenting too. I want y'all to be encouraged to experiment with your people. Let's see here. I love the sleep jellies, but they don't work for everyone. Well, they don't work for me. I do like taking them in the afternoon to chill out, but they don't make me sleep. CBDA is the only thing that makes me go to sleep. So if you have like ADHD and anxiety like me, where you're just like hyper all the time. I mean, I'm not always hyper, but you know what I mean? Like my brain is always like all the time. CBN doesn't help me. It's more of a sedative, like a physical sedative for me, but it doesn't shut off my brain at all. CBDA does though. Okay. CBDA and collagen. So collagen, y'all, if I take one packet in the morning and I drink it with coffee, then I'm good. But if I take it in the evening and I take 2 packets of the collagen, I totally am tired. So there's something that happens with CBG for some people that is an anti-anxiety also. CBG is studied for anxiety. It's great for anxiety. So if someone just gets that with the collagen and they get better sleep, can you take too much collagen? Yeah, you can take too much of everything. Will CBDA help someone with sleep issues due to sleep apnea? Yeah, I mean, sleep apnea is due to inflammation and their trachea. I mean, they're not, I mean, they might have swelling in the palate. Sleep apnea, here's the thing again, what kind of sleep apnea? Some people have sleep apnea because they have an occlusion somewhere in their mouth, their palate is dropped, they're heavy, so they have a lot of like, you know, when you have a big fat face and neck, you're keeping air from going in. Why do I know that? Because I'm a singer and I studied the ear, nose, and throat. I feel tired in the PM after taking the collagen in the morning. So take it in the evening. Yeah, try it as a tea in the evening. Inflammation and nutrition is everything. Yes, Sarah. We talk about this every day, Sarah and I. All right, well, I will wait for a few more questions to come up and then we're going to close this out. Obviously, this kind of training we wouldn't do in corporate. So keep this within the company, please. Everything that I've talked about is proven in studies. So if you're wondering, will you speak to CBD and allergies? Allergies is inflammation. Inflammation is the root of everything. CBD treats inflammation. How do you start a conversation with someone who has issues? You ask them to tell them in detail about the issues. That's it. Tell me how you feel and be empathetic, right? I'm so sorry you feel that way. Don't just go and sell them. Be there and listen first. People are suffering and we need to just be there for them. And then we need to help them create solutions. So we have to ask a lot of questions. Is a full dropper of CBDA twice a day appropriate? For some people, yeah. MS or diabetes, everything can be treated with cannabis, everything. Don't ask me that question again. Respiratory inflammatory disease, CBDA all the way, yes. Yes, 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 because it works on the receptors in the lungs. Have you had kids take the full spectrum or CBDA around 6? Yes. I have a lot of kids that have really chronic issues, mold exposures, autism, huge anxiety problems, lots of trauma. Kids can take everything adults can. I even have kids that are on medical amounts of THC, like higher amounts of THC. Do they get high? Slightly, but they have, I have a kid with cancer that has to take THC. Mind blown on the PFAs. Yeah. Walk away from synthetic clothing, y'all. Fast fashion is killing you. Not only the planet, but it's killing you too. Cervical pain, stenosis, can CBDA help with that? Yes. Cervical pain and stenosis are both, well, they're both nerve related for sure. Pain cream for sure. Soak in the bath bomb for sure. I have writer's cramps. I've taken so many notes. We have a great pain cream for that. Particular product best for MS, full spectrum and CBDA. Remember, anything that's chronic, full spectrum and CBDA together. Always, always. You want to access every receptor. Every receptor. You want to hit them all. So if you have a chronic issue, do them all.
Marlies.
Yes.
Sorry. You guys, sorry, we have another Zoom at 12:45, but can we give like the queen a round of applause, please? The amount of text messages I got, you are amazing. And I mean, can we just have, you can be like our doctor for Green Compass. Ask Marlies like once a month. Let's just grill her. She's so knowledgeable. So thank you.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do a once a month question and answer. I do get a lot of messages on Instagram. I try to answer them all. If you need a comprehensive consult, you do have to set up an appointment. So I do have appointments available. I'll be launching my new website soon, so it'll be much easier to schedule those. I do have a discount for Green Compass advocates that need a very comprehensive consult. But other than that, everything is pretty much free for y'all. So
you're amazing. We'll pop this in the boards and we'll put your info in there too if anyone does want to schedule one of those.
Okay.
So thank you.
Bye, guys.